This is activity 6.01, image editing, activity 1. We're going to go through Paint Shop Pro, and I'm going to demonstrate each one of the questions in these questions. So the first thing is, how do you zoom in on image? Well, the first thing you're instructed to do is go to Google and find the image. I found a Viking head, saved it to my computer. Then I'll open up Paint Shop Pro. That's the program we're using. It's pretty old, but it works. And I'm going to find the picture that I just saved. I saved it as a Viking. This particular file is a GIF file, so I'll click on Open. Alright, so it says, how do you zoom in on an image? There's a couple ways of doing it. The easiest way is using the middle mouse button on your mouse, the little scroll button. You can scroll in and out. The way how much you've zoomed in, you can tell by looking at 1:1. This is the actual size of the image. So you can zoom in, and this is twice the size. This is half the size. So that's important to pay attention to, especially when you're going to put it on the web page. So this is the actual size of it, and again, this is a GIF file. Second question is, how do you resize an image so that it takes up less physical space? You go to Image, Resize, and here you can actually do pixels. How do you want it smaller? You can use percentage. You can do OK, and that resizes it so it takes up less physical space. Usually when you resize an image, so this physical space, but it also changes the actual file size. So if you'll look at, if I go to File, save this as Viking 2, which I spelled Viking 2 wrong, but if you save it as Viking, and then I go to my computer and you look at the two files, this file is 14.3, this file is 5.4. See, that's the what you would call the size of the file is now smaller. It's actually, even though I increased it by half, it's almost a third smaller than what it was. Alright, so I'm going to undo that and resize it back. When it asks you how do you save the image as a different file type, here in this program you go to File, Save As, and you can't just type in .jpg at the end. That would still keep it as a GIF file. So what you have to do is, where it says Save As Type, you have to click the down arrow, and in this case you can do JPEG by clicking here and then Save. It'll ask you, do you want to flatten the layers, 16.7 million colors? Say yes. When it asks you what is the default background color in Paint Shop Pro, it may be different depending on who worked with it last or what pictures are back. But here is your foreground color and here is your background color. To change your background color, you don't have a lot of colors to pick from because this was a GIF file. If you picked another type of file, you can go to do that. Now let me find a file real quick. Alright, so I found a picture that is it's really large. This is a JPEG image, and if you can see, it's 1:8. If I scroll in a lot, this is the actual size of it. So the camera that took this picture is a really high resolution image. So when I change the background colors of this, you'll notice I've got a lot more colors to choose from because it is a JPEG, and JPEGs have 16.7 million colors. You can click on the different colors here. So this would be my foreground color, would be red. If I want to change my background color to be black, you can do that. So that's your foreground color and your background color. That is also how you change it. Now the question about the layers, if you want to add a new layer, you can go to Add, New Raster or Vector Layer, and you'll name the layer. So if I wanted to add a new image or layer, I could copy this from the selection here and just go to Edit, Copy, come back over here and Edit, paste as a new layer. I use Control L a lot, and then you've got multiple layers. And to see that, you'll see your layer palette here. You have layer 1. If you want to hide layer 1, you can. Layer 2, you can hide the background. And when you save an image, it's going to, if you save it as a JPEG, it flattens the layer so that you can't do anything. So if you're in the process of working with a complicated image, you want to save it as a Paint Shop profile. because what that allows you to do is you'll be able to go back and still adjust the layers. Once you save it as a JPEG, it flattens the layers, and there's no going back and changing it at that point. And before I let you go, there's a couple more things like Paint Shop Pro. You can look down here and see the image size. That is 4,608 pixels by that, and that's a 47.3 megabyte file. So it kind of keeps you up to date once you resize it, how much resolution you're taking. That is a really, really large image. You'll see that if I click on the this GIF file, it's only 402 by 545, and it's only got 16 colors. Another thing you'll run into later on when we start image mapping is that you'll notice there's a number down here. These are coordinates, X and Y coordinates. So when we do image map, like if you want to put a when you do HTML code, so when you click on Will's head, my oldest son's head, it would take you to a page about him, or if you click here, it'll take you there, and use these coordinates down here to set that up. So anyway, that's kind of an introduction to Paint Shop Pro, and that should help you out with your first activity in image editing.